Hello there, good people. Welcome to this new episode where I'm building an Instagram clone full stack web application. This is where I left off in the last episode. If you haven't watched it, go and check it out. And it's basically the user profile, and it's very similar to what Instagram does on their website, on their web app. So for today, I plan to do the actual main, let's call it dashboard. So where you can see all the pictures, where you have all the Insta pictures, and you can comment and push and put likes and whatnot. So I want to keep a similar structure to what the original Instagram does. I want to keep it very simple, so let's see how it's done. Also, we're almost done with the front end. After this, I don't think there is much more to do on the front end, so the next episode we're going to be focused exclusively on the backend, and first thing first is going to be authentication and authorization. So make sure not to miss that. So feel free to subscribe, and if you really like this content and would like to enjoy more and help this channel, well, then leave a like and share. That helps more than you can imagine. Okay, this being said, let's go back to our wonderful HTML. So this was the HTML of last time. Today I'm going to be working on the index.html because it's the main page. I'm a shortcut, and just like this, I can call it homepage. Then I want to keep the header very similar to this one, so I'm just gonna copy paste. So the body like this. One thing that I don't need to forget is the style sheet, because it's going to be useful for the styling. Good. Okay, now I also want to link the script if I have it. I still don't have, okay, client.js, and save. Okay, now let's see what I want to do. So first of all, I want to have a container. I always like to have a container, and I'm gonna call this Insta container. It's going to be different from the other one. It's going to be smaller because I just want to contain my Instagrams. Then I want, of course, each individual card. So I'm gonna call it Insta card, just like this. Now, the basic structure of a card is going to have, let's say, 3 parts. The first part is going to be the header, where the name, the username, the thumbnail is going to be, maybe the button to follow the person. Then the second part is going to be the picture itself. And the third part is going to be like the stats, like likes, maybe comments. And maybe there's a fourth part as well, where the description for the picture is. And yeah, I think that's basically it for now. So in the Insta card, I said that we have a header. So let's put it in here. Now inside this header, I'm going to have image that we're going to use the beautiful image that I had last time, which is, yeah, this one. And I'm going to say user thumbnail. Okay. And then I also going to have, let's put an h4, and this is going to be the username, of course. And I'm going to give a class of bold. Should already be like bold, but just to be sure. And save. Now, this is basically done. Inside, well, outside actually. So this ends up here. Okay, right here, I'm going to make a card Insta. This is where the picture is going to be, to live, basically. And to be completely sure, I'm going to give it a style for now. Like this. Okay. I'm going to set a background image. Just for testing, I'm going to use, I'm going to hard-code it. But you'll see that when we build the API, and we're going to load this particular parameter dynamically. Let's put the first one. Yeah. So my picture is going to be the background of this div. Okay. Perfect. So underneath this, I'm going to have an Insta stats stats. And inside these stats, I'm going to have two more divs. One is the stats action or actions. I can have like, and I can also have a comment. So this is basically the actions that I can do. And I can even give it a class of like change likes. And this is going to have a class of, I can say comment. Yeah, send comment. Something like this. Outside this div, I'm going to have another div, but this time it's going to be the stats number. This is going to have a span, and I can say, can have an ID of likes. I might change that later, but let's put something like this. Okay, let's put it in the center so that you can see it better. So just to make sure everything is going according to plan, let's see the page. Right here, if I put index.html, live server should redirect me to the correct folder. Okay, so basically now this looks super ugly, but you see the header is coming through exactly as before. We just need to style the card itself, basically. Okay, so right here, one last thing. Now the stats ends up over here. I have another div, and this div is going to be the card description. So if you post something like a description for the picture and something like that, it's going to be displayed right here. And inside here, I'm going to have a description. Yeah, description. Is that spelled correct? Yeah, it is. Author. Okay, so this is going to be the name of the person who's sending the description. And I can also put a bold so that it's gonna be like bold. I'm gonna say BeGeos for now. And then another div, and this is going to be the actual description. So I'm gonna use description text. And in here, I'm just gonna put some lorem ipsum. Now this is, oh my God. Okay, looking good. Perfect. And to top it all off, what I'm gonna do is this description test, actually this one ends up over here. What I can do is have a small div just right here, and it's going to be read more. And you'll see why in a bit. And it's, of course, it's going to be like read more. Okay, now let's see if the markup is done. Yeah, the markup is done. We have the header, and this is basically all the elements that I'm going to put in the card. Okay. Now that this is done, I'm going to style it. This is the most exciting part. Let's come up here and let's say no. Okay, let's say homepage styling. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to style is the container. Now this container is going to be smaller than what I've used before, because I want to contain the picture, and the picture I want it to be as squared as possible. I'm always going to use my min function, but this time I'm going to put 100%, because when the screen size shrinks down, I want to look similar to what Instagram does. And if you notice on Instagram, the picture, the card, that takes the full width when you see it on mobile. So I want to keep that behavior. I'm gonna give it 540 pixel, like maximum width. I'm going to give it a margin of 2 rem and auto. So this is going to be centered a little bit down. Then of course a display of flex. And the flex direction is going to be column, just one on top of the other, okay? And then I'm also going to use gap. Beautiful. And if I take a look at it now, you see that basically it's right in the middle, and it's 540 pixels for now. Okay. The second thing, you know what? Let's do this so that you can see all the elements when I change them. So right now we just style this container right here. The second thing I want to style is the card itself. So the Insta card. Okay, so basically the whole card right here, this whole thing. So the first thing I want to do is give it a display of flex as well, because this gives me a few kind of features that are very useful. The first thing is to put everything into a column. Now it's not very necessary right now, but it will be later on. Then I'm going to give it a gap. Then I'm going to give it a min width of 100%. So it's always going to take the full width of the container, which is fine because at max it's going to be 540 pixels. I'm going to give it a padding. So basically some internal padding of 25 pixels so that the elements inside are not going to be right on the border. And I'm also going to give it a border, of course, so that I can see it a little bit better. Let's give it an alpha. This is going to be a black, faded black, like 0.4. Yeah, why not? And then I'm going to give it a box shadow, not a sizing, but shadow, just to make it a bit more contrasty, you know? So it's 0, 0, then 20 pixel, and now the color is going to be a bit darker. Let's put a 6 and save. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, maybe it's a bit too much. Let's put a 4. Is that nice? Yeah, I don't like the border though. It's just too much. Yeah, why not? Yeah, it looks fine. So just like this, you can see the power of display flex, because I haven't basically done anything almost, and the card is almost done. So Flexbox is really useful when it comes to positioning elements and all that sort of stuff. So you should really learn how to use them properly, because it's a very useful weapon for your CSS. Now I want to style each individual piece. So now I want to style the header right here. And I think I call it, Insta header. Yeah. So Insta header. And for the header, I'm going to have a display of flex. And then I'm going to have a gap of like 10 pixel, so that the thumbnail and the username are going to be separated. I'm going to align items in the center. And this should look quite ugly now, but you can see that the username went like side by side, and this is thanks to display flex. Now what I need to do is to act upon that ugly thumbnail, and I'm just going to go image. So I'm selecting, and I'm just going to say a width of 50 pixel, a height of 50 pixel as well, so that it's squared. And then I'm going to say a border radius of 50%, and this is going to make it round, or it should at least. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so it made it round. Okay, this is looking good. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with it. Okay, let's go on. What's next? We have the actual Insta, so card Insta. And in the card Insta, I just need to do, no, actually I don't need a display of flex for this one. I want to give it a min width of 100%, because if you notice, right now, we cannot see the pictures. And that's because when you set a picture as a background image, it doesn't really have any width nor height, because it basically takes the width and the height of the div, but the div right now is empty. So if you want to show the picture right now, you have to give a fixed width and height to the div, and the image is going to to pop up. I'm just gonna give it a max height, just not to go too far, like 420 pixel, and also I'm gonna give it an aspect ratio, because as I said, I want them to be as squared as possible. Now these properties right here is going to say the div, the card insta div needs to be as large as the container, as its container, but it doesn't have to exceed 420 pixel height. And if you can, keep the ratio like as squared as possible. Now I want to set the background size. I need to set some, so this is going to be center, and these are some properties for the background. Then it's a background repeat, it's no repeat. The pictures are very small, so you shouldn't have this problem, but it's always nice to have. And then I want to say a size of cover. This is very important. And if I look at it now, look at it. Beautiful. I mean, it's basically almost done. One last thing, we need to address this, the stats, basically, the like, comments and stuff, and then the comment section. But this is basically it. And you have to imagine like many cards like this one just going down, and you scroll as you would on Instagram. Okay, so let's do something else. Now I'm going on with the Insta stats. And here I want a display of flex. Then I want justify content space between. And this is going to place the elements as far apart as possible. So I'm going to have this right here and this right over here, because they are two different divs. So the stats action are going to be in this div, and this is the other div, so that I can use the flex property in this way. I'm actually going to address the individual spans. Padding right of 10 pixel. This should be working. Yeah, now they're far apart. I like it. Now, one thing that I want to do, just to give it a bit more of user experience, call it whatever you want. Let's give it a hover state, and the opacity is going to be of 1. So basically when you go over it, you can see it like this. You see? Perfect. Okay, I think I'm done with the stats for now. Now it's time for the card description. This is probably going to be like the most complex, let's say, because I want to give it a max height. Because if you put like a very long description, I don't want the card to be too different between each other. Like I have one card that is 600 pixel, the other one is 500, the other one is like an entire page. I don't want that. So I want to control it. And how do I do it? I put a max height, and then I'm gonna go for the scroll on overflow. So basically, instead of hide it, it's going to put a scroll. And if I really want to make it better, I can use this property, and these basically are for the browser, so that it's not going to show this scroll bar width. It's not going to show the scroll bar, because it's not very nice to see. And if I want to do it for Chrome as well, I need to select the same thing, description, but I need to put it in a WebKit, and it should be scroll bar. And this is going to be a display of none. So right now, if I take a look at it, you see that it's scrolling because the max height is actually 80 pixel. Now, one last thing is that I don't like the name to scroll as well. So I think I'm gonna give it a position like sticky. And if I go into, did I call it something? Yeah, description author. So if I go here and say description author, I'm gonna say a position of sticky, and now I say top 0. Basically this means that when you touch the top, just stay there. And I'm also gonna give it a background color, not size, but color of white. And that's because the text is going to go beyond that, behind it. Yeah, just like this, you see? It's pretty nice actually. One last thing that is left to do is the read more. The read more is going to be very, very easy. I'm just gonna align it text. Align it on the right so that it's going to go the other way, and I'm just gonna give it a cursor pointer to be like clickable. Did it do it? No. Oh, because it's not like this. Yeah, it's read more. Okay, so right now it's here. Now I want to link an event to this. So I'm going to use my JavaScript as well. So I'm gonna go to my client.js and I'm gonna select something that I know is going to be on this page. Just not to, you know, find myself creating an error on the page. So I'm gonna now select all like this, and I'm gonna select the Insta container. This is definitely going to be on the page. I think the HTML can go away so that you can see it. Okay, then I say if Insta container, so it's not like this, Insta container. So basically, if this exists, basically I'm on this page, I know I'm on this page. I'm gonna add an event to the document itself, because remember, these cards are going to be loaded dynamically. They're not going to be on the page. So I just attach an event to the document itself, and then I'm going to use a very useful function, which is the matches function. And basically, I'm clicking the read more. I'm going to target the small. So this is the element I'm selecting. And if you remember, this is actually small. So basically this, okay. And what do I want it to do? Well, I want the target the closest, because, you know, and I'm looking for the Instacard. So basically this is selecting the Instacard, and inside this Instacard, because I want to select a sibling. Right now, the read more, I want to expand this particular thing, not to scroll, but to its full width, its full height. So I have to select it, but this is a sibling of this, okay? So I need to select the parent, and then from the parent, I go back to the sibling. And so like this, I've selected the parent, and then I'm gonna do a query selector. And in this query selector, I'm gonna have the card description. In this card description, I'm gonna add a class list. Actually, I'm gonna toggle. So toggle is basically, if it is on there, put it, remove it. If it's not, add it. I'm gonna put a class of open. Now we need to decide what this class of open is going to be. And it's very easy. If I go to my style, in my card description right here, and I add a class of open, basically the height, or the max height, yeah, is going to be max content. So right here, we should have it like this. And as you can see now, it's not scrollable because the content is all in there. But if I like add something more, like I copy paste this a couple of times, this is going to be a very long description. And inside here, I can scroll it, or I can read more and I can see it all at once. Okay, this is done, and I think I don't want to add anything else. So the next episode, as I said, are going to be focused mainly on the backend. I'm gonna think about authentication. I'm gonna think about the database schema and all sorts of stuff. So if you don't want to miss that, well then stay tuned in the next weeks for the next episodes. Another thing that I want to add here is that this website is absolutely responsive. So if I shrink it down too much, you can see that now it's like 100%. So it really looks like an Instapic, like those Polaroids. You remember? Well, if you remember, you might be a little bit older than I am, but that's fine. And this is looking absolutely sharp. So far we've done everything for the front end. We have the user, which is this for the login or the sign up. Then we have the profile. And this is going to be like where you have the profile and people can follow you and stuff like that. And last but not least, we have our main page, our home page. Perfect. So as I said, stay tuned for next episodes. And if you like this video, please leave a comment and leave a like and share it. Hope to see you in the next one. For now, it is all. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.